Živjo, I'm here. Welcome back to my channel, and let us set up my reading journal for May. May was a lot more successful than April. I read again my total of books that I usually read, 4 books. And honestly, I had fun this month. Sometimes I really don't feel like reading, and I noticed that a lot because of the internet. I really had to remove myself from certain type of content that is talking about books because they just ruin the enjoyment and fun of reading books. And I watched Leonie, or the book Leo. I really like her content. And she really talked about when she was reading Fourth Wing. Even some people love that book, some don't. I still haven't gotten there yet. She said herself that the writing is easy, it's not anything complicated, but she's having so much fun reading that book. And that is important. That's what I want. I lost that fun of reading because of certain people and certain content that they're making, and I just pushed myself away because I was losing that enjoyment of reading. I was ending up more in a reading slump and not picking up books to read because of that. So I had to remove myself completely from there. If by any chance you do feel like that too, I think you need to look what type of content you're consuming. But you are basically, if it's really negative, I suggest you just take yourself away from that type of content, because how certain someone feels about the book may not exactly speak to you, because you may find this book to be quite enjoyable than what they thought about it. So yeah, I made a little bit of changes, and I'm quite happy that I got back to reading because this month was good. And as you saw, I'm trying a little bit something different, because since I'm not reading that many books, there's going to be a lot of pages left in this journal, and I kind of want to fill that up. That's why I made May just so separate and just put a bunch of stickers there. On this page, it's just, as you can see, it's just about how many pages did I read, how many books I owned, my library. Also, I have certain books that I did enjoy and all that, but I don't feel like keeping them. I do have physical books, and I am thinking of selling them here if I find some buyers, basically. And kind of want to make more space for my bookshelf, because my bookshelf is not that big. I don't have that much space to put my books there. So yeah, that will be my little rant. So as I'm setting this up, we are going to go very soon to my first book that I was reading this month. Alright, with the first book that we're starting, it is Wretched. But yeah, this is the third book. These are retellings, and this one is a retelling of Wizard of Oz. This book contains tropes like enemies to lovers, forbidden love, mafia romance. It is a spicy book like 3 stars or 3 chilies, however you rate your spicy books. It is dark romance, adult, and retelling. So we have our main girl, Evelina, I think, and she is the daughter of this big guy who's in the mafia, her dad, but it was her older sister that was keeping the family name until she passed away and the dad came back, but the drama is in the family. I forgot Evelyn's second older sister, because wait, what was the name? What was the name of the girl that was in the Wizard of Oz? The main girl, Dorothy. That's the other sister, and Evelina just absolutely hates her for reasons that she thinks she despises their older sister, and for her to be responsible for perhaps ending their sister. So yeah, Evelina is in this big family of mafia. She is the creator of this drug, and it's going around. So to find out who this family is, to lock them up, we have agent, or not exactly a police officer, but undercover agent, Nicholas, who's gonna go undercover to find things out about this family, like working for them. Things are turning a little bit different because, you know, feelings come in. Even though he knew that she's in the mafia, that this should be forbidden, they shouldn't go close to each other. Yeah, of course it happens. And it is so hurtful for Evelina, because she's going through so much betrayal in her family, and then also from Nicholas and another friend that she thought that they are her friend. Turns out they're not. And you kind of get the idea who's who in this book, like, since it's retelling of Wizard of Oz. And I think since the ending of the book, Nicholas would present the Tin Man. I think that's his character. But yeah, it is a spicy book. It was entertaining. I had fun with this one. If you are into this type of dark romance, mafia romance, do check it out. Okay, so for the second book, I finished Emily Wilde's Adventures. This one is Compendium of Lost Tales. This is the third book. And in this one, they finally found, well, they did in previous book found Wendell's realm, where he grew up, his home. They ventured there because now Wendell wants to take the throne, he wants to be the king, and there's a lot to be done there. And they also have to find if the queen, his stepmom, is even still alive. But there are some complications. Things need to be fixed. People need to accept him as the new ruler, and I think the biggest thing that these fairies need to accept, that their queen is a human woman. So Emily has a lot to do, and it's always something being thrown at Emily about, well, Wendell is an elf, he lives longer, he can change, basically for Emily to end up being hurt or something. She found out about her past, that someone in her family did fall in love with a fairy, and they played a cruel joke on them, and they died. And they were kind of worried that that won't happen to her. And she's very sure, and the way we get to meet Wendell, that he is not that type of a fairy or that type of a guy that would do that. But then again, as I said, elves live very long. What will happen throughout the years, we don't know. But honestly, he is a wonderful guy. He truly loves Emily. And when she was gone, because fairies really love stories, and if there's something big that happened in, let's say, in Wendell's story, how he became king, and I don't know if something huge happened, it becomes a story, and the elves know about it. So Emily went back to the human world to get to know a story, to find his mother or stepmother, the previous queen, because they kind of need to end her or find her where she is. A lot of things happen, especially to Wendell, and I thought, what now? But thank God for Shadow, the dog. He brought Wendell back. But yeah, there's a lot. there was been going on in this book, and it was so much fun. The first one was very, because you kind of get to know the characters and the elves and all that. It was okay. The second one, and it had a little bit more action. It was fun. I liked this one a little bit more because you really get to see Wendell, what type of a king he is, an elf, and how he truly feels about Emily, even if he did say it and show it many different times. In this one, you just don't have much spice, even though I did add like 1 heart, but that was basically just mentioning that they were about to cuddle, if you know what I mean. But they don't go into details. It was like they're going to bed. You know it happened, but the next day they just woke up, going their merry way. Basically like that. Wonderful, cozy read. I do recommend to read all 3 of these books. If you really want like just to relax a little bit, there is some action going on, but it's not like it's easy to follow. That's what I want to say. So I do recommend. Third one, and this is The Dare by Elle Kennedy. This is romance, sports, contemporary. The tropes are fake dating, friends to lovers. Now our main girl, Taylor, is more, not a skinny girl. She has curves. And Connor is a hockey player, so he has a stunning body. She thought that he is never going to even like her. So how did these two end up together? Here's the thing. Being in this, I'm actually kind of happy I don't ever experienced that, because it doesn't look fun. And that is that she was in this sisterhood kind of a apartment where all the girls lived there. They had these dares that you have to do. There's no like truth or dare. It's either dare or dare. And there's this one girl that really didn't like Taylor, and she told her that I dare you to have sex with Connor. And I'm like, okay, that is so messed up, because apparently what was said in these dare or dare games, this didn't go always too good. Apparently someone even ended up with the baby. So that's just effed up. So she asked Connor if he could pretend. So they went to a room and pretended to have sex. But Connor was really interested in Taylor because they were just talking. To him it was a little bit new that the girls didn't just want to jump into his pants, but actually there's a girl that he is having a conversation with. And Taylor is, because of her body, very insecure, but he truly wants to get to know her as a person, and he really ends up liking her. Previously mentioned in her other books, misogyny is hard in these books, okay? Just remember that if you go into this. So it's not for everyone. Tyler, even though she is a virgin, she didn't jump to have sex with Connor. And I like that he was very patient with her. And they were really going slow, and he was waiting for Taylor to give like signs how far he can go. And I really like that Connor and her best friend Sasha are very supportive of her and telling her that she is still beautiful even though she has more curves. As usual in these type of books, miscommunication, I really don't like that, but yeah, it happens a lot. So something happened that in Connor's life, his past friend came back to kind of like haunt him, and he didn't want to tell Taylor about it. He wanted to do things by himself, and they almost broke up, and it's so bad. If they just talked and be honest, it wouldn't have happened. And then once they meet out, then something happened to Taylor, and she wanted to like break up with Connor because she was ashamed. Oh my god, things could have just ended up better. I mean, you open your mouth for a lot of things. Why can't you open your mouth to say things? Something, if you're in a relationship, why don't you just talk? I don't get it. And these things just really just so it kind of ruins it a little bit, you know. But it was still fun. It was still good. And yeah, I did enjoy, in the end, I did enjoy this book. If misogyny isn't much of a thing to you, I mean, it doesn't bother you, give this series a try. It was still good. And we are at the last book, and that is Terms and Conditions. Now, this one I like a lot more than the first book. I think it's the fine print. I like this one a lot more. So this is romance, fiction, adult. The tropes are fake dating, workplace, forced proximity. Here we go. I do like that our girl Iris has dyslexia, or I don't know how you pronounce it, and she really takes long to do her job. Now she is an assistant, or not exactly assistant. Basically, she is close working with Declan, and his only goal is to be a director of big company that they have as a family, to basically push down his father, because he is at the top right now and he wants to take that place because their dad is a very bad person. I don't want to say the bad words, but he's a bad person, and he absolutely just ruins his family, and so much hate from his own children towards him. So Declan's only thing that he wants is to get that position, and for order for him to do that, in the will of his grandfather when he passed away, he asked that in order for him to get that position, he needs to marry and have family. So Iris has so much work in her hands, not only working in the company, but actually finding a woman for him to marry so he can go on with the plan to get that position and get the money, basically what the grandfather left for him. And end up the woman that Iris chose for him, she ran away at the day that they were supposed to pronounce that this is the couple, and I guess that was supposed to be the engagement day, I think, or something like that. It just all went down the hill. And to save his face and from all the people that are actually been waiting for them, Iris said that they've been together like this whole time. And I guess Declan liked her a lot sooner, because he did do these little some things for her. She just didn't notice them. But yeah, communication can be really bad here too. I don't know about this with these romance books, but that is their strongest point, is just not communicating well. And what I noticed about the boys, about like Declan and Rowan, and then we have another brother, which we will know about him even more in the third book. I think Carl is his name is Callahan or something. All three of them don't want to end up like their father. It just gives you the idea how this family, how these boys grew up and their feelings towards their father. I know I didn't explain much because I sometimes like to go a little bit too much into the book, and I have a feeling that I did spoil sometimes books telling you too much. But so far I really enjoyed this series. So far this one is my favorite. We'll see about the third book in the series, how I will feel. But yeah, this is really, it is fine. Of course, it's not perfect. The thing that annoys me is that they know that they're married, and specifically for our girl Iris, I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong, but she knew what she's getting herself into, and she still kind of like develops feelings and trusting Declan a little bit too much, especially when they get a little bit intimate. Yeah, I think she jumped a little bit too fast, but I get it. I mean, it's kind of really scary when you think about it. You just put yourself in a position that you're going to marry your boss and expect him to have his child. Are you even ready for that? That is terrifying. That will be all for this book. I do recommend, if you're into romance, to try it out. Alright, so let's go all the way at the beginning. I'm just going to color 4 boxes here with the color yellow. like I said, I think I mentioned it before, I did too many boxes because I am not gonna read so many books. So for this month, I was reading 4 books, 3 physical, 1 ebook, 1 was from the library, and 2 I owned. When I say 2 I owned, I usually mean physical books. I don't know, I don't count ebook. I don't know, that's how I do it. And did you guess which one was my favorite of this month? It is Terms and Conditions. From all the books, I did enjoy this one very, very much. I usually look at the books also how I feel when I read them and how I feel at the end of the book. And this one is the winner. So this is all for May. Thank you so much for watching. Please write down which books you were reading this month, and I hope to see you in my next video. Ciao, ciao!